Hey guys, Jordan here, Boo Nast on Board Game Geek with another Finer Things review. And today we're going to talk about a game that I got to play a demo of at Gen Con 2014 from the designer. One that had been on my radar a little bit and then I'd kind of forgotten about it. And then when I saw it there, I was like, ooh, right, there's that game again. Really wanted to try it out. So today, let's talk about Romans Go Home. It's a little card game, about 15 minutes to play, designed by Eric Vogel, who was the gentleman that taught me at the booth there. It's distributed through Asmodee Games here in the US. I believe there was a first edition made here in the States. I think that the designer did kind of a self-publishing or something like that, but it's since been picked up by a French company, and that's why it's being distributed through Asmodee Games. But first, let me walk you through how to play and take a look at the components, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so here is a setup for Romans Go Home. Now, no matter how many players you have in the game, you're going to set it up the same way. There's only really two components in the game. There are your individual player decks, which we'll go over in just a little bit. These are all the same. We each have an identical deck of cards. And then the only other deck is this deck here that you're going to shuffle up of the forts and then place 6 out. Once you place the 6 out, you're going to find the lowest value fort and move it to the left, so that is the first fort that we fight over. And then you're going to take the highest value fort and move these over, so that the highest value fort each round is the last fort that we fight over. Next, each player is going to take their deck of cards that they have and shuffle these up, and you're going to randomly discard 2. And you're going to take your remaining cards, playing 1 for each fort, and then having 1 left over and discarding that one. So we'll play as if this is a 3-player game, and let's just say green decides to play these cards like this. We'll have the purple player play their cards, and the red player play their cards. Now, after everyone's done that, and that's really where the hard part of the game is you're going to, after you've carefully thought out everything and made some agonizing choices, and then you place your cards, then we're ready to resolve. What we do is we're going to resolve each of these forts from left to right. The way we do that is we start with the first fort, and everyone just reveals their card for that slot. And then after resolving any abilities on the cards, for instance, these two here say that they cannot win the fort this turn, and their points don't count for winning. So neither of these can win the fort. So then we take the highest total that is eligible to win, in this case 4, and they win this fort. When you take this fort, you're going to take it and place it in front of you, getting that many points, in this case a -3, and then any special abilities that are on the fort will be written right there. And this is a negative, this is give alternate win conditions. I'll get right back to those in a minute. If you win the fort, then you take all of your face-up warriors and discard them. However, in this case, if you capture the fort this turn, I may keep him face up instead of discarding him. So I get to keep him there. We've resolved that fort, so then we go to the next fort here. And we simply flip these cards over. But now what we're doing is we're adding the total points across. So in this case we have 8. We have 1 here. The 1 can steal a number from someone else, but if there are 2 out, they cancel each other out. So in this case we have 8. We have 6, and we have 5, 7, and 8 there, because these just become 1. So in this case, the 8 wins with the highest play. So they take the, scoring that one, and then discarding all of their warriors. And then we go to the next. So in this case, we have 10, we have 11, and 4. So in this case, the 11 wins, so they capture this fort, and they discard all of their warriors. And the round just keeps going through like that, players capturing the thing. If you capture the fort, then you get rid of your other warriors face up. So as you lose at forts, you're building up points to be able to win the next fort there. And once you get to the end and you've scored all the forts, then everyone takes their hand back. You draw out 6 more cards, and you repeat the process. The game plays for 3 rounds, and whoever has the most points wins. Also, I mentioned something about these negative point forts here. This is an alternate win condition. There are 4 in the game. If one player manages to get 3 of these forts, they shoot the moon and immediately win the game. And it says it right there on the card. And some of these other forts, as you'll see, have special abilities, and you resolve those when you win them. For instance, when this fort is captured, all players must discard one face-up warrior. The 8 here, when you capture this one, you must discard another fort that you've already had. Stuff like that. So that's the main play of it. You're just vying over those 6 forts. You do 3 rounds of it, and then final scoring unless someone gets those 3 negatives and automatically wins. The last thing we should really need to talk about here are the deck of cards. Okay, so here are the player decks. Like I said, 1 in each color. And each of these decks for us is the same. Okay, so everyone's going to get a 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and not an 8, but 2 9s. So let's just go over these very quickly. Here's a 1. When she comes out, the queen, she can steal the point value of anyone else that's in the row with her. If 2 queens come out in the same turn, they cancel each other out though, and they're just 1s. Otherwise, they'll steal the value of someone else's card they played that turn, making them a 0 and adding their number to that 1. The Druid here, if you win this one, then you can if you win with him on your turn, then you can capture any fort that's up there, not just the one that you're on. The 3, you can rearrange the your remaining face down cards. So this is a good one to play maybe in the middle of the game so that you can kind of see what other people have done, and then you can switch around to maybe capture a fort that you need for the end. The 4, Axe McGold here. If you capture a fort this turn, you may keep him face up instead of discarding him. The Archer. The Archer is good. He wins ties as long as the other person that you're tied with didn't also play an Archer that turn. The 6 makes it you cannot capture the fort this turn and your total's not counted. This is good for just building up, so if you know there's a fort you don't want to capture, but then you want to capture the next fort, 6 is a good play for that. The 7 here, high number, and if you do not win the fort this turn, then you have to discard a face-up warrior when you normally don't have to. And then you get 2 9s, 2 chariots. And the chariots, they're just the highest valued card. The only caveat here is if another player plays a chariot on the same turn, then all the chariots in that row cancel each other out and they're discarded. So that is that. Like I said, 3 rounds of this, and either most points wins, or if someone gets 3 of those 4 negative point forts, they win immediately. So that is Romans Go Home. As you can see, just a quick little card game, 15-20 minutes, that's it. It's a great filler. It works great for parties, for non-gamers, for gamers. I haven't found anyone that doesn't enjoy this game. It's really fun, putting all those cards out, it's like you're trying to outthink your opponents. You're trying to think, what are they going to do? And then how can I play my cards in a way that's, going to mess with them? It's going to maximize my points so I can get the forts that I want. And then of course, with the other players, it never works out. Someone always plays a card you didn't expect or something like that. So a lot of fun. Really just a lot of fun, wild swings, stuff like that. Your plans are going to get messed up. Just accept it. And I also like that it has that alternate win condition. I've seen people try to, shoot the moon and try to get those 3 negative forts, and sometimes it just goes horribly wrong. And then other times I've seen people win right out of the gate like that. So it's a nice little added layer of depth. It brings a little more strategy. When you see someone going for it, you're like, do I try to stop them from getting that fort, or and then I'm going to get negative points. That means I have to get the 8, or what do I do there? So it plays with less than, I think it plays 1 to 4, or at least certainly 2 to 4. But you can, I think that you really won't get all of what you want out of the game with less than 3. You know, with 2 players, you know, the rules say to add in a dummy player in there, which can kind of just wreck everything up. It makes the game really wild. But 3 or 4 really draws the game out, and you get the full flavor of it, and you get those wild swings, and everyone's just doing crazy stuff. Your chariots are slamming into each other. Great game. I can't say enough about it. I really love it. My game group really loves it. I think you will too, no matter what level of gamer you are. I believe this edition of it is, I got this at Gen Con 2014, like I said, but I think this isn't released yet in the United States. I think it'll be later, the end of this year of 2014 or the first quarter of 2015. So that is Romans Go Home, and I hope this video helps you decide whether this is a game for you or not.